Nazem Kadri. Will he be suspended? Yes, he will definitely be suspended. But for how long? And what are the long-term and short-term effects for the Colorado Avalanche? And how is us Avs fans should see the team not only for the rest of this playoffs, but for potentially the next few seasons with this Kadri news in suspension from last night's game. Before I get into this, I want to say Jesus is King. I suggest giving your life to him. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. And also, make sure you subscribe and leave a like. We're getting close to 100 subs, and let's do it. Let's hit it. And without further ado, though, let's jump into this. So, this is Nazem Kadri's third playoff suspension. And with the hit on Falk from the news I've seen, he's facing up to a 5-game suspension. When you're seeing this, it could already come out on how long the suspension is going to be. But right now, it is up to 5 games. Personally, how do I see it? I see anywhere between 3 to 5 games, potentially 2 to 5 games. So that could either be the rest of this series if it goes 7 games, which I hope it doesn't, or it could lead into the next series. So we'll have to see what happens there. But yeah, he does have a history of this. When he was with the Maple Leafs, I believe he got suspended twice. Once in the first round against the Bruins, and then a second time the following year against the Bruins again. So Kadri does have a little bit of a history with suspensions, and so we got to take that into consideration with what we want to do with Kadri. So for the short-term effect, here is how I see the lines. The big line stays the same: Landeskog, McKinnon, and Rantanen. And so obviously the big line does not get affected, but how does the second line get affected? I'm actually bringing Tyson Jost up into Kadri's spot and having him center Burakovsky and Donskoy. And Tyson Jost, over these past few games, has been really good. And I think giving him that chance again on the second line in the playoffs, let's see how he performs. Then in the third line, I have Newhook moving from right wing to center and moving him up to the third line. He is a center, according to the Avalanche's roster. And I have him centering Saad and Nichushkin. And I think that would be a fun line to watch. And giving Newhook a chance at center could be very beneficial in his growth, and probably potentially be that Kadri replacement with him being suspended. And then the fourth line, I have Belmar centering JT Compher and Logan O'Connor. Obviously, Logan O'Connor has been inactive these past few games. I don't know if that is due to injury or it is due to other reasons, COVID, or just having him being active because of the players we have active in the lineup. But yeah, this is how I see the short-term effect for these playoffs, depending on how long Kadri is suspended for. This is how I see the lines for Friday's game and for the rest of this series and potentially the next series, depending on how long this series takes. The long-term effect is Kadri could potentially be cut after this season or left unprotected in order for the Seattle Kraken to potentially draft him in the expansion draft. Kadri's a great player, so if the Kraken wants to get a solid center, who I see as a second-line center, I could see the Kraken drafting him, and if he's cut or left unprotected, this opens up another spot for someone like Brandon Saad or Jonas Donskoy to be protected in the upcoming expansion draft. So how would the forward protections work? So for those of you who don't know, I made a Avalanche protection and what they should do for the expansion draft coming up. But with this Kadri suspension, say Joe Sakic doesn't want to keep Kadri around because of this suspensions. Well, I see obviously McKinnon, Rantanen, and Landeskog all being protected. And then Burakovsky still being protected, Nichushkin and Converso getting protected. Now this opens up the 7th forward spot to either protect Donskoy or Saad. Now Saad does need a new contract after this season, and Donskoy has been looking really solid in the playoffs. So to me, if you don't protect Kadri, you can protect Donskoy or Saad. I probably would do Donskoy here and then try to re-sign Saad if the Kraken don't draft Saad, and probably draft Kadri. That would be what I would do. But yeah, this is just the forward protection. So if y'all are wondering what the defense protection or the goalie protection looks like that I did, go check out my other video on the expansion draft. But this is how I see the reworked forward protections if they don't want to protect Kadri because of his suspension history. So what are my thoughts on this? Kadri is a great player, a great second-line center. He can score goals. He'll set up his other teammates. But this season, he has struggled a little bit. He really has struggled getting the puck in the back of the net. This season has not been super great for Kadri, and hence why maybe the Avalanche don't want to protect Kadri and potentially maybe cut him to make room for other prospects, Sampo Ranta and other prospects coming up through our farm system. Like I said earlier, he does have a suspension history when he was with the Maple Leafs, and probably the big reason why the Maple Leafs wanted to trade him, because is he a big game performer? Last season in the playoffs, he was spectacular. Against the Coyotes and the Stars, Kadri was one of the best players. But this season, he has not been performing super well. So, he can perform in the big-time games, but it just hasn't happened this season. To me, the suspension length, I'm going to guess anywhere between 3 to 5 games of him being suspended in the playoffs this season. And finally, my final thoughts is, should he return next season? As much as I like Kadri as a player and how much he's done for this team, no, I do not think he should return. I think we should open up a protection slot for Donskoy or Saad, preferably Donskoy, and have him be drafted by the Seattle Kraken in the expansion draft, because as great as a player Kadri is, you can't be having players going and making these hits to potentially put your team in a situation to lose a big game and be suspended. And Kadri's a great player, but unfortunately, because of this suspension history, I do think that the Colorado Avalanche should look in a different direction. And with Newhook and Sampo Ranta coming up through the farm system, I feel like this could be a perfect time to release Kadri and move on from him. Without further ado, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in my future videos. Peace out.